first open Premiere Pro, it's going to give you this window, and we're just going to hit New Project. Then it's going to bring up the new project choices. So there's a lot of the obvious, like for example the name. So I'm just going to name this DAVo test. This is the location it will be saved. So we definitely want to change that. So what you'll want to do is hit browse and navigate to the folder that you're saving your project. I would suggest making sure it's something that you know and a location that you like so it's easy to get back to it. That's pretty much all we need to worry about for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And it's going to build our project. Okay, so this is Premiere. And obviously, because it's Adobe, it has a lot of similarities to a lot of the other programs. But there are a lot of differences as well. So let's go ahead and talk about some of those right now. So in Premiere right now, I'm in the display mode called Editing, which is right here. And you see it's in blue. There's a lot of different display modes that kind of set up your workspace. So for example, I could be in the assembly mode. I could be in the color mode. I could be in effects. Whatever the case, editing is where we're going to be now. All right, the first window that we're going to look at is our project window. Our project window will display all the different media that we're using in our particular project. As of right now, there's nothing in there at all. That's why it just says import media to start. Now, if you don't see this window, you can come up to the window menu and go down and select project. But we have ours open. Now it's very, very easy to import things in Premiere. All you have to do when you're in the project window is double click anywhere in this blank area. So I'm going to double click and then I'm going to navigate to a folder of mine called DAVO Music. And I'm going to pick the song that I'm going to make the video to. So in this case, it's the Temper 3000 Knife song. So I'm going to double click. And you notice that now we have one audio file within our project. Now what I like to do is I like to create bins, aka folders, within our project to keep everything more organized. So now that I have an audio file, I'm going to right click, go to new bin, I'm going to name it audio, and then I'm just going to click and drag my audio inside there. So that's the quickest way to just kind of be able to find things. So if I'm looking for a particular song or sound effect, I know it's in the audio bin. I'm also going to create a video bin as well. So I'm going to right click, new bin, call it video. And I'm actually going to import a video track right now. So in my blank area here, once again, I'm going to double click. And that just opens up my folder so I can navigate. And I am going to find, let's see, the media folder. And I'm looking for a particular file. Let's see here. This one right here. So this is just a like an old school animation that I'm going to use. You guys are going to have access to this same file. So I double click and it imports into our session just like that. Easy enough. Now notice if you look down here, our video did not import into our video folder, so that's easy. Just click and drag it in, and there we go. Simple as that. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is create a new sequence. Now, the sequence is going to be the area right down here in our timeline that we're going to actually assemble all of our assets. So, for example, in GarageBand and Audition, we had our main timeline area. In Premiere, it's just down here, not quite as big as the audio programs. And that's because we're going to have two different video windows here. So the quickest way to start a new sequence is just to drag media into this area. So I'm going to start with our audio. So I'm just going to click and drag our audio and just drop it. And there you go. So now we have a brand new sequence that defaults to the name of whatever I dragged in. So for example, I dragged in the Temper 3000 Knife instrumental. And now we have a sequence. And you notice that the icons changed. This icon has these little like colored blocks. The audio actually has the little waveform. Now notice that the sequence file actually was created inside the audio folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and drag that out of there. and now, you know, it's just separate. We could also, I'm going to go ahead and do it, create another bin, and this one's going to be my sequence bin. So if I have more than one sequence, that'll be all organized as well. Now if I wanted to, I can drag a play line, just like Audition, spacebar plays and stops. Notice down here in our timeline, we have tracks that say A1, A2, A3, and V1, V2, V3. Essentially, it's pretty easy. These are audio tracks and it defaults to having 3. These are our video tracks and it defaults to having 3. Now we can add more, but for now 3 is good for both. You can click and drag audio files around, easy enough. You can grab the edges and trim them. I'm just going to undo that. You can also mute or solo, just like in our audio programs. And we can also lock a file. So for example, if I want this to just be left alone, this song, I can just lock it into place. And that way I don't have to worry about accidentally, you know, editing it or cutting it or putting an effect on it. So that is our timeline area.